Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to talk about and rank my top 15 palettes of 2023. If you haven't watched the last video I posted, I tried a total of 88 palettes throughout 2023 and I have been ranking them from the absolute worst to best. In that last video I ranked from 88 to 16, and so in today's video we are ranking my favorite 15 palettes that came out this year. I'm so excited to share what they are and why I love them and show you pictures of some looks that I have created with these. If you're excited for today's video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get started. By the way, if you are interested in any of these palettes, they are listed down below in the description box. Some of them might be tagged in the video, and when you shop the palettes from the tags or the description box, you are helping out my channel. And with that said, at number 15 out of 88, I have a Natasha Denona palette, and it is no other than the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. This palette came out towards the end of the year. It is the newest Natasha Denona palette to come out. It has a pretty gray, white and black color story, but the pigmentation of these shades is iconic. I am obsessed with the shimmers in this palette and how refined and metallic and luminous they are. And my favorite thing that I love about this one and that truly surprised me is how it is a like black smoky palette with which you can create some really soft, glamorous looks. It is truly versatile as far as how light you can go with it, and it goes all the way to like a very dark gray. I'm not gonna say a black because there isn't a true black shade in here, but very, very dark gray. I did a video reviewing this one when it first came out where I showed you two different eye looks. I did a black sparkly smoky eye. The other one I think was like a silver smoky eye, and I absolutely loved both eyeshadow looks from that video. But then I also did a short video afterwards where I created this soft, almost neutral but obviously not really smoky eye with lots of sparkle, and that is to this day my favorite look that I have done with this palette. I used these two shades down here, which are the only ones that are a bit more neutral rather than cool tone, and it looks so good. Anyways, some of my favorite shades from this palette are the two that I just showed you, but I'm going to focus on the shimmers. So this one here is called Skift. I love this pinky one right here, which I wish was a little bit more pink than it is, but it is pink enough. And then I also love this black glitter right here. And let's do one more. Supersonic is a glorious silver. So as far as shimmers are concerned, these two are my top 4 favorite shimmers from this palette. And you can see when these get swatched how luminous and how just finely milled and glamorous looking they are. You won't find any chunky glitters in this palette. It's more refined, so to say, but still very luminous and sparkly, similar to what I'm wearing on my eyes today, but a different color story. Anyways, I love playing with this one. It was the most pleasant surprise because, to be honest, when I first purchased it, I was like, it's so gray. Like, it's so cool toned, so gray. I didn't see myself reaching for it that often, but it turns out that as far as like softer, glamorous makeup looks is concerned, it is a pretty versatile palette, and so I love it. And it made it to the top 15 palettes of 2023. At number 14, I actually have a palette from an indie brand, Fantasy Cosmetica, and this right here is the Fighter palette. This one came out, I think, right around summertime, and this is my favorite Fantasy Cosmetica palette they have ever launched. Arguably, it's probably also the most boring because they usually have much more fun and colorful color stories, but I just prefer the soft, glamorous looks, as I explained to you, and so this one is definitely much more me of a palette, and so I see myself reaching for it very often. As far as these shades are concerned, I love a mustard yellow. I always have, I always will. You have this nice neutral brown and this beautiful smoky dark brown here that is cool toned, and you can see how pigmented these shades are. They are also very soft and very blendable. on the crease of your eye. I have zero complaints about the Fantasy Cosmetica eyeshadow formula. I did do a video where I tried this palette around summertime and I created a look that I love with it. And then I also did a short video with this one, which I'll play right here, and I believe I like this look even better from the short as well. So take a look right there. And then of course the shimmers from Fantasy Cosmetica are incredible. This dual chrome here called Glory is beautiful. I love the shade Might down here as well so much, and this color Victory brings a really beautiful contrast to some of the more cool tone mattes in the palette. So take a look right here at how beautiful those metallic shimmer shades are. I absolutely love the Fighter palette. It is a great addition to anyone's makeup collection. It has an incredible quality and the most lovely natural looking color story with beautiful sparkles, so highly recommended. I have a discount code with them. It is Patty10. At number 13, I have a Pat McGrath Quint from the holiday collection this year that I absolutely love. It is nice and colorful, but you can create the most stunning glamorous looks with it at the same time. It is the Lunar Nightshade Quint from Pat McGrath. First of all, I am obsessed, in love with this incredible purpley shade right here. It is a satin shade. It is soft and it's almost like a cream to powder formula. It blends out beautifully on the crease. You truly don't need any other matte in this palette to make this palette work, and it is also the most beautiful contrast to the rest of the shades in here. I am obsessed with this teal shade. This teal shade, this is like an amethyst champagne almost, and this one is the most perfect inner corner, and you can take a look right there at how pigmented and shiny they are. I barely put pressure on my finger to pick them up from the palette because I know how good and how pigmented these shades are. Take a look right there. The shimmers in these quints from Pat McGrath are incredible, and so are the matte shades that she included in those quints. As I said, they're almost like a cream to powder formula. So depending on the color story of the palette, you've seen these squints kind of scattered around the entirety of my ranking, and I definitely think that it's the unique color story of this one that made it get all the way to number 13. Moving on to number 12, and number 12 is from Odin's Eye. I have a discount code from Odin's Eye as well, which you'll find down below in the description box. The code is Patty10, and my 12th most favorite palette this year is this one here, the Stone and Rocks palette from Odin's Eye. I am obsessed with the beautiful color story. I think it is perfect, especially when it comes to the fall time, and I love that they didn't make it just like a green olive palette. They also added some contrast in there that you can play with, like the black shade and the white shade. I always love it when a palette has a white shade because you can so easily soften the looks with it. I absolutely love the shimmers that this palette has in it as well. Odin's Eye mattes are incredible. They're pigmented and soft and blendable, and they have this amazing quality to them, but their shimmers are probably even better than their mattes. I do really like both formulas from them. I don't know if I can pick one over the other. Anyways, their shimmers are to die for. This one actually has a duochrome shade, which is the one in my middle finger right there. And just look at how glorious those beautiful shimmer shades are. I think I probably have used this one much more off camera than on camera, because I remember that this was the palette I wore to the Ed Sheeran concert. I did this very soft smoky green look, but when I reviewed this palette, I of course created at least one look with it here on my channel. I'm not sure if I've done any shorts with it or anything. That's why I was saying I think this is one that I definitely use more off camera, because I've used it quite a few times off camera, but I don't remember filming with it more than just the review video. Anyways, I love it. It's versatile and flattering, and it has a spectacular eyeshadow quality. Moving on to number 11, and at number 11 we have another Natasha Denona palette, and this one kind of marked a before and after for my love for the Natasha Denona brand, because I have loved Natasha Denona for years, but I always had a complaint about Natasha Denona, and it was that I wanted more metallic shimmer sparkly shades. And for the most part, she gave us regular shimmers that weren't as spectacular, they weren't as sparkly as I wanted them to be. But with the Yucca palette this year, I feel like that changed, and every release after that gave me all of the shimmer and shine that I wanted. Anyways, 11 is the Yucca palette from Natasha Denona. This one is also a spectacular palette, especially to use during the fall time, but it honestly can be used year round. I love shades like Camu Camu up here. This one is fantastic for the summertime. It's kind of a iridescent green type of color. Of course, this being a Natasha Denona palette, it has spectacular quality in the formulas. The shades are pigmented and soft and blendable, and they are not powdery. They don't have fallout. We're used to that level of quality from Natasha Denona palette, and I am just so glad that she never disappoints. And then here are the metallic shades I was telling you about that I have been praising ever since this palette came out. This is the level of shimmer and shine that I wanted her to give us for years. And starting with this palette, she started to put multiple of these metallic shiny shades in her palettes, and I could not be more in love with the brand right now. Thank you, just thank you for listening to your customers. I'm sure it wasn't just me that wanted that, because I think Natasha had one of her best years yet this year when it came to makeup releases. Anyways, I do have an affiliate code with Natasha Denona as well, which I always forget to mention. It is Patty15, and you can actually get 15% off anything on the Natasha Denona website with that code, which I think is fantastic. The next palette is palette number 10 of 2023, and it is the Pat McGrath palette of the year. I am talking about Mothership number 11 right here. What was the name of this one? I always forget the names. Sunlit Seduction from Miss Pat McGrath. I know it's like top 10, and that's like a good place to be. However, usually the Mothership palettes are my top 5 most of the time. They're like my most favorite palette of the year. So going all the way down to top 10 is a bit of a downgrade for Mother, okay? Anyways, this palette is lovely. It has a beautiful rose romantic color story that I am attracted to because I am still not sick of pink, and it does have these beautiful glitter shimmer shades on the left side right here. These are not her baked formula. These are a bit more soft, a bit more sparkly, maybe a bit more fallouty, a bit more chunky as well. But I do personally really like them, just like I like the baked formula. There were complaints about these not being baked. I don't share the opinion that these are worse than the baked. To me, they're kind of interchangeable. I don't mind this formula versus the baked formula. I don't have a preference. I feel like they do different things. Anyways, let me show you the special shades from this palette, because these are always the most fun. Now, I did feel a little lied to when it came to this release. Take a look right there how beautiful these shades are, because the outside packaging of the palette, the box, has a good amount of purple in there. It almost has more purple than pink, and so I truly thought that we would get some purples in this palette, which is something that I've wanted forever. I have wanted Pat to release purpley shades. I'm still waiting for it to happen. Maybe 2024 will be our year. This one only has this amethyst looking shade. The rest of them are rosy tones, so I was a bit disappointed at that. But that's just me, because I want the purples. Anyways, these 3 matte shades I am very thankful for. They are beautiful, they are pigmented and blendable, and just fantastic for the crease area. And every single look I have created with this palette, don't get me wrong, I love. And I did a lot of content on that palette when it first came out. I did a review video where I created a couple of looks with it, just trying as many shades as possible. And then I also did a 5 looks 1 palette that I'm honestly pretty proud of. I really liked it, because this palette is a bit monochromatic. It's just like all roses, and I feel like I got a good variety of looks in my 5 looks 1 palette video. Plus they all were very beautiful and glamorous. Anyways, this right here is my number 10 palette of 2023, and hopefully next year in 2024, Pat will be back to my top 5. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there in the universe. I just want her to give me the purple palette of my dreams. My 9th favorite palette of 2023 is actually a collaboration with Oden's Eye, and one that I fell in love with. I am talking about the Sea Talk palette from Oden's Eye in collaboration with Lauren. This palette is incredible. As someone who like truly doesn't even like blues that much, the blues she shows for this palette are beautiful. Let me correct myself. I just don't like blues or vibrant blues on my crease area, but I don't mind them to darken up the look, and I don't mind them as shimmers on my eyelid. So this palette is perfect because the blues that it has in it are like pops of color for the eyelid, or this navy right here to darken up your look with, which is incredible. And then not only did she give us some color in this palette, but she also gave us the neutrals here to combine with these colors. So like one of my favorite things to do with this palette is combine this one on my crease and darken it up with that blue, and it looks beautiful. The shimmers that Lauren put in here are incredible as well. Some of my favorites, take a look right there. They are soft and colorful and shiny. I absolutely love them. And then we have this color right here in the center, which makes for the best pop of color and a fantastic shade to put right on the inner corner of your eye. I have had so much fun playing with this palette every time that I have reached for it. I have, I think, 3 to 4 looks total here on my channel that you can see I've created with this one. When I first reviewed it, I created a look. I think I did one more look with each palette in that collection afterwards that you can check out. And then on my Instagram or my YouTube shorts, there might be a couple more looks that I have created. Anyways, you'll find lots of content with this palette because, like I said, I fell in love with it. And for a 10 pan palette, it is pretty versatile. So yes, love it. Palette number 8 is from Pat McGrath, and it is the last Pat McGrath quint I'll be mentioning in this ranking video, and that is this beautiful thing right here, the Bronze Ecstasy quint from Pat McGrath. This one is just so convenient, and I absolutely love the color story of it so much. It is a pretty simple palette. I feel like there's not a huge variety of looks that you might be able to create with this one, but the look, like the look that this one gives you, is spectacular. It is glamorous. It is fantastic. I love both of these cream to powder shades that Pat put in this palette. They are so pigmented and so creamy and blendable, and then to combine those with these glitters, it is just a combination made in heaven. Again, this is pure glamour. It is very convenient being a quint and all, and perfect for travel as well. Just an incredible and very glamorous palette. It is limited edition. If it's still available, I do highly recommend that you get your hands on it because you are not going to regret it. And I did do a look with this one when I first reviewed it. Every time I've used it since, I've done the same look because I love the look that you can create with this one. So I don't think I filmed anything else besides the review video. My palette number 7 is also from Pat McGrath, and it's not a quint, it is a quad. And I know that a lot of you will probably immediately know which quad I'm talking about because I used that very recently for a holiday look, and it is this right here, the Venusian Sunrise Quad from Pat McGrath. This is such a beautiful, versatile palette, and I'm not talking about versatile as in like you can do a bunch of different looks with it, because you can't. You can do maybe 2 to 3, right? But I'm saying versatile as in you could use this palette year round. It's a good winter palette, it's a good holiday palette, it's a good summer palette, spring palette. You can use it for anything. I mean, maybe spring is a bit of a stretch, it's not springy, but you could definitely use it during the springtime for sure. It is just so wonderful. I love, love, love Pat McGrath quads, and this one is so special. This shade right here is just the most perfect neutral transition color. It is soft and pigmented and blendable and just like a fantastic shade. As you can see, it can be built up to be nice and intense, or it sheers out to like the most translucent veil of bronziness. This right here is a brown that has a hint of like burgundy in it, and I absolutely love it to darken up this look. It is just the most perfect shade, also very buttery and blendable, and it has the most fantastic performance. Now, the star of the show with this palette, 100%, this metallic gold shade right here. It's like a foiled metallic gold with gold sparkles, and it is magic, okay? Magic. When you put this color on your eyelids, you cannot help but stare, even if it's at yourself. So imagine what you can do to people around you. It is just the most spectacular gold shade. Again, it's like a shimmer foiled gold metallic color with gold sparkles. Just fantastic. I use this palette all the time. I don't get tired of reaching for it. It makes me so happy and so excited that I have it in my collection. It is one of my top favorite quads from Pat McGrath, and every chance I get, I grab for it. I think I have used it here on my channel on 2 or 3 separate videos, like just finding excuses to pull it out. Oh my god, I've done 4 videos with this one in the span of a year, like full long videos. Again, just looking for reasons to use it. I did the video reviewing it. I did a video where I was trying a bunch of new products that I got at Sephora, and I was like in love with the way things came out. I did a bronzy look for the summertime with it. And then I did the holiday look, where I also used this one. In most of those videos, I did 1 to 2 variations of the same look, but I just love the look, okay? The look, I love. And so, of course, needless to say, this is an absolute favorite for this year, and I highly recommend it. Palette number 6 is an Anastasia palette, and it is the Anastasia Cosmos palette right here that came around the summertime. I love this one because it has the most beautiful combination of soft mattes and duochromy sparkly shimmers. I'm in love with these 3 matte colors and this one to deepen up everything. I think these colors work together wonderfully to give you the most beautiful looks. And as you can see, you can make things nice and warm toned using these shades, or you can make them nice and cool toned and still dark using these. And so you can combine your cool or warm toned crease with these spectacular shimmers up here to create the most wonderful, ethereal, glamorous looks. I'm obsessed with this blue color here. This one's really special. This one, I love this one here as well. And this one at the bottom. Here, these are my 4 most favorite shimmers from this palette. I absolutely love each and every single one of these. They are shifty, they are glamorous, they are sparkly, and they go so well with the mattes that I just showed you. I have no complaints about this palette, and I love the looks that I have gotten with it. I, of course, did a video reviewing it when it first came out, where I showed you guys a couple of eyeshadow looks, and then I also did a 5 looks 1 palette with it, which was also so much fun to create because I got to try every single shade from the palette, and I got to give you a handful of really soft, glamorous, and a tiny bit colorful eyeshadow looks that I personally love. Only 5 palettes to go, so drum roll please for the top 5 palettes of 2023. Starting with palette number 5, which is from Miss Huda Beauty. She definitely brought it this year with the Pretty Grunge palette right here, which I absolutely loved. I really like the cool toned color story. I like that she still gave us some neutral shades to combine with the cool tones. I even like this black cream shade right here. I don't know how long that one is going to last. I feel like the consistency of it has already kind of changed since I bought the palette. It seems not as creamy, but that's okay because we have that black shade in this palette, but then we also have the matte black up here. And she also put some really nice, incredible shimmers in this one. I love the, oh, you barely have to touch that one and it's like really pigmented. also a bit crumbly. Be careful with that. This shade here is beautiful. This shade here is beautiful. And the mattes blend like an absolute dream. I did 2 looks when I first got this one, as I usually do, and I had a ton of fun playing with it. And then I also showed you guys a 5 looks 1 palette in case you bought it and you want to know what to do with it. Hopefully you can find some inspiration in that video. And so just because this is a very wearable palette that I know that I'll be reaching for a whole lot, this one made it all the way to my top 5 of 2023 because I love the formula that she puts into her bigger palettes every year. And these usually tend to be palettes that I reach for a whole lot. So this is my 5th most favorite. Okay, palette number 4. You guys are not going to believe what palette number 4 is. Because palette number 4 I only tried like a week ago. I have done a couple of looks with it since I got it, but the color story and the formulas of this one are too perfect. I'm very excited about it, and so it made it all the way to my top 4 of the year. I'm talking about the Dragon Eye palette from What's Up Beauty. If you have not watched my review video on this one, I highly recommend it. It's like 3 to 4 videos back. And this palette is just so incredible. It is so beautiful. It has a beautiful combination of matte shades and glittery shimmer shades. The glittery shimmer shades are like dual-chromy, multi-chromy, sparkly, amazing. And then the mattes are great because they're very nice and they're soft, and you have your cool tones and you have your warm tones, and so you have a really good variety of shades in this palette to combine with those shimmers that just give you the best of all worlds. Let me show you some of my favorite colors. Fly, Spectacular, Spectacular duochrome shimmer. This one down here, ooh, it's green, it's blue, it's got so many shifts to it, it's fantastic. Monster here is like the most beautiful silvery purple shade. Let's do one more. Fire. Fire is like a gold orangey color. Just take a look right there at how incredible those shimmers are. What's Up Beauty is an indie brand, and this palette is made in Italy, which I found to be curious and fantastic, because usually indie brands make their palettes in China, as far as I'm concerned at least. This is the first indie brand I try that makes their palettes in Italy. And honestly, they did the right thing because the formulas are so good. So besides the Spectacular shimmers I just showed you, take a look right here at the incredible mattes. If I had something to critique about this palette, is I wish it went just a bit darker than it goes. I wish this matte brown was just a little bit darker than it is, and then it would be like perfect. Okay, so yeah, Dragon Eye palette. I have used it twice. Again, I've only had it for a couple of weeks. So I did one look in my video where I reviewed it, and then I used it again, but I don't remember if I filmed it or if it was just... Yeah, I don't think I filmed it. I'm sorry. I don't think I filmed it. So you have seen me with it on in a different video, but it wasn't a video where I talked about it. I was talking about something else while wearing it. Top 3 palettes of 2023, and my number 3 most favorite palette is from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I am obsessed with this one. This is the Rich Romantic palette from Glaminatrix Cosmetics, and it has a beautiful romantic color story that has neutral and rosy shades and the most insane shimmers you could possibly imagine. This is such a good palette. This one has a couple of dark shades to intensify your looks with that I love, and then it has all of these soft matte colors down here and this one that you can create really beautiful soft romantic looks with. See, these are some of my favorite mattes from the palette, and then obviously you can put those on your crease and they'll combine super beautifully with the duochrome and multi-chrome shimmers that this palette has in it, which I'm about to show you. Hold on, I was drying my fingers. Ugh, these are so pretty. Just take a look at how beautiful and ethereal and shiny and glamorous these shades are. Honestly, I have had so much fun playing with this palette every time that I have reached for it, and this is kind of like my style of makeup. Soft, romantic, glamorous, smoky eyes with really intense sparkles in the center. I have to love it. I have to love this one. So if your makeup style is similar to mine, get your hands on the Rich Romantic palette. You can get 10% off with my code PATTY10, but keep in mind this one comes from Australia, so it'll take a little while to get to you. Palette number 2, you can use the same discount code for, but it's from a different brand, and that is Odin's Eye. Palette number 2 of 2023 is the Jewels and Gem palette from Odin's Eye, and we go back to the soft, romantic, little bit of color, lots of versatility, glamorous looks. This palette is very versatile. You have your cool-toned romantic shades up here. You can go a little pinky peachy. You can go a little bit more gray-toned purple. You can intensify that with this pigmented purple right here. You can even go blue with this palette. I absolutely love how versatile this palette is. It even has a green in there. Just take a look at the variety of spectacular cool-toned mattes this palette has. It is incredible. And so not only do those mattes give you tons of versatility, but then you also have the glittery shimmer shades in this one that go so well with those mattes. Shades like High, Exhilaration, Rhapsody. I don't know how to pronounce this one down here. Take a look right there at how spectacular and intense these metallic foiled colors are. Very, very beautiful, especially when combined with the variety of matte cool tone shades that this palette has in it. I don't know how many looks I've created with this one here on my channel. Check out the review video. I think I did maybe 2 looks with it on there, because I've done definitely more than one with this one. If you guys are interested in it, if it's still available on the Odin's Eye website, maybe it's not. I haven't actually checked, but if it is, I highly recommend it, and you can get it with my 10% off coupon using code PATTY10. I cannot believe after 87 palettes, because I did film both videos on the same day, we have made it to the #1 palette of 2023, which is of course the palette I have been wearing on my eyes since the first rankings video. It is glamorous and soft and cool-toned and versatile, but mainly a palette that I know I'm going to reach for every chance I get. In fact, whenever I have left my house, even for a night, since this palette got to my life, I have taken it with me because I love it that much. I have separation anxiety if I don't have it with me. I have attachment issues with the beautiful Natasha Denona. I need a nude palette, and I know that this is not the most colorful or interesting color story. I am very aware of that, but these are colors that I can reach for on a daily basis and not get tired of them. I did like 7 looks with this one. I did 2 looks as per usual when I first got my hands on it on the review video, and then I created a 5 looks 1 palette with it, which, check it out, you can see it right here on the screen. And I am obsessed with the shimmer shades Natasha shows for this palette, but also the incredible mattes that she shows for as well. They are soft and they are glamorous, but then you have this very dark brown matte right here that can make everything so smoky and so interesting looking, and just deepen up the entire thing and make your look go from daytime to nighttime. So this is definitely one of my favorite shades because it truly helps to transform your look when it comes to this eyeshadow palette. Then I also love warmer shades like Vague right here. This one's really, really special. I actually have this one on the crease of my eye today. And then a matte color like Stone. It's just such a staple for a beautiful cool-toned look. I absolutely love it. Besides the mattes and the fact that they're super creamy and pigmented and blendable and so easy to use, the shimmers that Natasha put in this palette are also spectacular. As I said, ever since she launched Yucca at the beginning of the year, she has been giving us the metallic shimmer shades, and I am definitely here for it. Take a look at how much my eyes shine right now. I love it. The main shade responsible for the shine is this one here, and then I have this one on the inner corner. I do also love this pinky one right here for the inner corner. I use this one often. And then this one here is also spectacular. So you can see how amazing and shiny and soft and glamorous and finely milled these shimmer shades are. I absolutely love them. Again, I know this is not the most versatile palette. It definitely doesn't have much color to it, but I am boring, okay? This is a go-to everyday staple. I'm going to reach for it every chance I get. It's an easy palette to grab for and use and create a glamorous look with without like thinking much about it. It is just perfect for every day and every kind of occasion, because you can create a very daytime look with it, or you can kind of make it like smoky and glamorous and interesting as well. So I don't know what else to tell you. I absolutely love it, and you can get it with a 15% off discount from the Natasha Denona website with my code PATTY15. I know I keep plugging my codes in this video, but I want to remind you guys so that nobody gets it full price. Anyways, with the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette, we have made it to the end of this rankings video, and I truly hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have not watched the other ranking from 88 to 17, that one was intense. I highly recommend that you go watch it. Bring a snack because it's probably a long video as well. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye.